The CBN governor was in Lagos today to check how far with the National Theatre, and that's part of diversification, of course, initiatives of government. But let's tell Nigerians more. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, has described the ongoing renovation of the National Theatre in Igomu, Lagos, as a major driver for unlocking the estimated $25 billion potential within Nigeria's creative sector. Speaking on Thursday during a tour of the near-completed facility along with members of the Bankers Committee, Mr. Cardoso said that the revitalized National Theatre is positioned to stimulate significant growth across the creative industry. Recall that in 2022, CBN and Bankers Committee collectively agreed to invest over 65 billion naira to rehabilitate the National Arts Theatre and return it to its former glory. According to Mr. Cardoso, the transformation of the iconic venue goes beyond infrastructure, serving as a catalyst for widespread economic benefits that will extend beyond the creative community to impact the broader Nigerian population.
We all as Nigerians should want to take a pride in defending what has been put here. So it's not a question of, we and the Bankers Committee. No, we're all in it together. It is estimated that the creative sector can potentially generate about $25 billion US. Okay? This, to my mind, will be a great catalyst for that to happen. And of course, as that happens, so will the prosperity of not just the creatives, but all Nigerians. And with that, I believe it will serve as a very powerful signal to the potentials for collaboration, okay? Because once something like this is successful, others will take a cue and it will speak for itself.
Meanwhile, the federal government has pledged its commitment to implementing the end-of-life vehicle regulation aimed at protecting the environment and transforming waste into economic opportunities. Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Senator John Eno, made this known at a stakeholders engagement in Lagos put together by the National Automotive Design and Development Council. He said Nigeria has the potential to develop a multi-billion-dollar industry from wealth and waste, creating valuable economic chain. Senator John Eno said the sector is worth more than $60 billion globally, insisting that Nigeria cannot be left out. Minister commended the NADDC's Director General, Mr. Joseph Osonipi, for advancing Nigeria's automotive.
It creates, an opportunity for another industrial value chain, is given birth to. What do I mean? There are people, you're going to find industries and establishments being set up, because of the products, that result of the end-of-life, regulation. From the mere fact that waste will no longer be seen as waste, it is seen as an opportunity, right? It's seen as raw material. Raw material for what? Raw material for industry. That's the connection, and I think that with all the players that play in it.
By implementing this regulation, we are going to create minimum 40,000 jobs, and this is how it's going to affect, one of the ways it's going to affect ordinary man on the street. Number two, the health implication affects all of us. It affects you, it affects me. It affects anybody that's breathing the air. When you are breathing air in Nigeria, then it affects you. It affects every man. Then you look at the environmental implication. You look at the landscape. You look at how vehicles are parked everywhere. The radiation that is coming out of those parked vehicles. How are the engine oil being disposed? How are the batteries being disposed? All these have effect.
It has very positive impacts on the hazards on the roads, has positive impacts for job creation, for industrialization of the automotive industry in the country, for resource recovery, for a lot of the components of the automobiles, including ferrous and non-ferrous metals that can be collected and can contribute to the GDP of the country in terms of industrialization.
The stock market will rebound with improved figures in key sectors. After 4 days of lower transactions, the all-share index jumped by 0.34%, indicating price rewards on shares and other securities. Transcorp was the highest gainer with nearly 10%. Others that followed were Square, Africa Prudential Insurance, Tantalizers, and Caverton Aviation. The shares that traded Downwards included MRS, Red Star Express, Lasaco Assurance, Universal Insurance, and UPDC. Malaysian stocks rose today as investors held out hope that trade tensions could ease after U.S. President Donald Trump exempted some automakers from tariffs for a month, while the euro stood tall ahead of a European Central Bank's meeting. Japanese government bonds fell sharply after German long-dated bonds were swept up in the biggest sell-off in decades as parties in talks to loosen fiscal rules. U.S. stocks surged sharply higher, shoring up Asian market as MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares outside Japan was up 1.2%, while Tokyo's Nikkei gained 0.9%. Futures indicates European markets are set for a higher open, as well as the pan-European stock 50 features up 0.7%. A German DAX features 0.3% higher. China and Hong Kong shares rose a day after